When your family stops visiting, do this: 6 ways to find joy again. Have you ever sat in your favorite chair, looked around the quiet room, and thought to yourself, where did everybody go? Maybe your kids used to call more often, or the grandkids used to come running through the door, filling the house with laughter. But now, the phone stays silent. The visits get fewer and farther between. And that silence? It can feel louder than a crowded room. If you felt this way, you're not alone. It's something so many people experience as they get older. Life changes, routines shift, and suddenly, the people who once seemed to need you so much, well, they have their own lives now. And it hurts. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to sit and wait for someone to walk through the door. You have more control over your happiness than you might realize. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 powerful ways to find joy again, even when your family isn't around as much as they used to be. These aren't just empty feel-good phrases. These are real, actionable steps you can take today to bring more happiness, connection, and fulfillment into your life. Because the truth is, your joy shouldn't depend on whether or not someone else decides to visit. So, let's start with the first step: shifting your mindset. I know. That might sound like just another cliche, but hear me out. When your family stops visiting, it's easy to take it personally. You might start wondering, did I do something wrong? Do they not care anymore? But most of the time, the reality is much simpler. Life gets busy. Work, kids, responsibilities, they take up a lot of time and energy. And while that doesn't mean they love you any less, it does mean you might not always be at the top of their priority list. That's not a reflection of your worth. It's just how life moves. And if you keep waiting for others to fill your time and bring you happiness, you're handing over the keys to your own joy. Instead, what if you decided, right now, to be your own source of happiness? To create a life that feels full, regardless of who shows up? It starts with a simple decision: I will not let my happiness depend on someone else's schedule. And once you make that decision, the next step is to rediscover what makes you feel alive. Think back, before you were a parent, before you had all these responsibilities, what were the things that used to make you happy? Was it painting? Writing? Playing music? Exploring new places? Sometimes, we get so caught up in taking care of others that we forget how to take care of ourselves. You don't need permission to start enjoying life again. Pick up that hobby you abandoned years ago. Take that class you always wanted to try. Find something that makes you excited to wake up in the morning. Because the more you fill your life with things you love, the less you'll feel like you're waiting on someone else to do it for you. Now, let's talk about the power of unexpected connection. There's something magical about forming new relationships, even later in life. Maybe it's a neighbor you've only ever said hello to in passing. Maybe it's someone you see at the coffee shop every morning. The truth is, there are people all around you who would love to have a conversation, share a laugh, or even become a good friend, if someone just made the first move. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple smile, a small conversation, an invitation for a walk. The more you open yourself up to these moments, the more you'll realize that connection isn't just about family, it's about the people who choose to show up in your life, no matter where they come from. And that brings us to something really important: changing the way you see loneliness. Loneliness isn't just about being alone. It's about feeling disconnected, like you don't have a purpose. But what if, instead of seeing this time as something to endure, you saw it as a chance to redefine your life? To take control of your happiness in a way you never have before? Because the truth is, this chapter of your life, it's yours to shape. And you have more power than you think. You know, it's funny, when we're young, we can't wait to be independent. We want our own lives, our own space, our own freedom. But as we get older, that same independence can start to feel like loneliness. And that's when the real challenge begins, learning how to embrace your own company without feeling isolated. That's why the next step to finding joy again is building a daily routine that excites you. When family stops visiting as often, it's easy to let the days start blending together. You wake up, drink your coffee, maybe watch some TV, and before you know it, another day has passed. But here's the thing, having a routine isn't just about filling time. It's about creating moments that you actually look forward to. So, what's something that could make your mornings feel special? Maybe it's a short walk outside, feeling the fresh air on your face. Maybe it's a quiet moment with a book you love. Or maybe it's learning something new, taking an online class, trying out a new recipe, or even just listening to a podcast that makes you think. The secret to joy isn't in big, life-changing moments. It's in the small, meaningful things you do every single day. And when you build a routine that energizes you, that gives you something to wake up for, loneliness starts to lose its grip. But let's take it one step further. Because while enjoying your own company is important, connecting with others in new ways can bring an entirely new level of joy. Have you ever considered volunteering? It might sound like a big commitment, but it doesn't have to be. It can be as simple as reading to kids at a library, helping out at a local community center, or even just checking in on an elderly neighbor. The thing about giving is that it doesn't just help others, it fills you with a sense of purpose. And purpose? That's what keeps us going. That's what makes life feel meaningful, even when things don't go the way we expected. But I get it. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know where to start. I don't know if I have the energy for all of that. And that's okay. Because connection doesn't always have to come from volunteering or meeting new people. Sometimes, reconnecting with your past can bring unexpected joy. When was the last time you called an old friend? Or looked through old photos and let yourself remember the stories behind them? Sometimes, we lose touch with people not because we don't care, but because life simply moves on. But here's the beautiful thing, you can always reach back out. Send a message. Make a phone call. Write a letter, even if it's just to say, I was thinking about you today. You'd be surprised how many people are just waiting for a reason to reconnect. And if you don't have anyone from the past you feel comfortable reaching out to, that's okay too. There are so many online communities now, book clubs, hobby groups, discussion forums, filled with people who are looking for connection, just like you. The key is to take that first step. Because once you do, you might just find that the world feels a little less lonely than it did before. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you, embracing new technology to stay connected. I know. Technology can feel overwhelming. Maybe your kids or grandkids have tried to show you how to use FaceTime or WhatsApp, and it just seemed like too much trouble. But here's the truth, learning even just a little bit can open up a whole new world for you. Think about it, with a simple video call, you can see your family's faces, hear their voices, and feel like you're right there with them. It's not the same as being in person, but it's a lot better than sitting alone, wondering when they'll visit next. And if your family is busy, that's okay, too. Because technology isn't just about staying in touch with them, it's about opening up new ways to connect with people all over the world. Ever thought about joining an online community? There are groups for everything: gardening, history, cooking, even storytelling. Some people even make new friendships by playing simple online games or joining discussion groups where they can share their experiences. The point is, technology isn't the enemy. It's just a tool. And the more you use it to your advantage, the less isolated you'll feel. But let's shift gears for a moment. Because while connection and routine are important, there's something else that can bring you joy in ways you may not have considered before: changing your environment. Think about the space around you right now. Does it make you feel happy? Inspired? Or does it feel a little stale? Sometimes, when life feels stagnant, the best thing you can do is change something in your surroundings. It doesn't have to be a major renovation. It could be as simple as rearranging your furniture, adding a few plants, or hanging up photos that bring back good memories. Even getting out of the house and exploring a new place, a park you've never visited, a different cafe, or a museum, can refresh your mind and lift your mood. When you change your environment, you change the way you feel. And that's powerful. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about the most important thing of all, learning to find joy within yourself. Because at the end of the day, happiness doesn't come from how often your family visits. It doesn't come from what other people do or don't do. It comes from within. If you're always waiting for someone else to make you happy, you'll always feel like something is missing. But when you start creating your own joy through hobbies, new experiences, meaningful connections, and simple daily pleasures, you take back control of your happiness. And that's the secret. That's the real key to feeling fulfilled, no matter who comes to visit or how often they call. So, let's make a promise today. A promise to stop waiting. A promise to start living fully, right now. Because there is so much joy still ahead, if you choose to embrace it. Now, before we finish, let's take a moment to reflect on something truly important. It's easy to feel like life is passing you by when people you love seem too busy to visit. You might find yourself thinking, wasn't it just yesterday that my house was full of noise, laughter, and love? Where did everyone go? And why do I feel so forgotten? But here's the truth, you are not forgotten. You are not invisible. And your life still holds incredible value. The challenge is learning to see that value for yourself. Yes, your family loves you. Yes, they care. But their absence doesn't define your worth. And it certainly doesn't mean your best days are behind you. Because joy isn't something that comes from others. It's something you create for yourself. It's in the simple moments, the warmth of the sun on your face, the taste of your morning coffee, the book that keeps you up at night because you just can't put it down. It's in the connections you make, the small victories you celebrate, and the way you choose to keep moving forward, even when life feels quiet. So instead of waiting for someone to walk through the door, be the person who brings joy into your own life. Start something new. Make a call. Take a walk in a place you've never been before. Try a new recipe. Write down a memory that makes you smile. Join a class. Plant a flower. Do something, anything, that reminds you that life is still happening, right here, right now. And when your family does come to visit, when they do call, you'll have so much more to share. Because instead of waiting for life to come to you, you'll already be living it. Now, if this message spoke to you today, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need to hear it, too. And if you want more tips and motivation for living a happy, fulfilling life, make sure to subscribe. Because here's the thing, you are never too old, too forgotten, or too late to find joy again. It's here. It's waiting. And it's yours for the taking.